What is happening, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of Why You Should Love with me, TheLonesomeRavidor. Today we're doing Why You Should Love on Resident Evil Raccoon City. Ooh, looking very tasty today, this game. Let's get this thing started. Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City has been probably the least respected of the Resident Evil games so far. It mainly due to the fact that it kind of was very spontaneous. It seemed a little rushed, was quite glitchy in some points, and but just some points in which people didn't like. Personally, I quite enjoyed it, and I'm going to give you some reasons why you should love. Anyway, let's get this thing started. This is a good game for people that really do enjoy the third-person shooter genre. The game itself does pull it off rather well. There's definitely a strong shooter feel to it, but obviously the main thing, that's probably a bad point as a Resident Evil game is going to include horror aspects to it, but ignoring that, it is a very good third-person shooter. But at the same time, it does have the Resident Evil aspects to it because of the whole zombies thing, and it does have you feel very constrained. So it's a good third-person shooter in which you don't feel the most powerful thing out of a lot of everything. You actually feel the slightest, but not the most powerful of everything. Anyhow, let's move on to our second point. So this kind of obvious one. It's a Resident Evil game. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a Resident Evil game, so obviously any die-hard Resident Evil fans, as I said, my Resident Evil 6 Why You Should Love, this is definitely just a game for die-hard Resident Evil fans. It is made for die-hard Resident Evil fans. For a Resident Evil geek like myself, it was fun to go back and explore Raccoon City again, see Leon S. Kennedy again, see Ada and all them lot. Although the storyline didn't really fit into the genre itself, it was quite cool to explore it again and have a little bit of a nerd sesh, like realizing some places look the same and all that. It was quite cool, especially at one point you get to you actually walk past the gun store, I do believe, which is quite cool. So yeah, let's move on to my third point. Resident Evil games so far, like ever since Resident Evil 5, have really been trying to explore the whole multiplayer genre kind of thing, and I do believe they kind of made Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City with that in mind. The game itself obviously offers a 4-player co-op, which is quite cool. They're good being making the storyline much easier doing it with friends rather than AI, but nevertheless it's quite a cool little thing to do it all together. The online itself, the full-on online, is in the, like, say, the heroes mode and the virus mode. I think it's virus mode. I don't know, but there's different modes anyway, and yeah, they're really all quite fun. Obviously they involve 8 players all together, going for one goal, or like they all go against each other or something like that, or you go on teams. Or sometimes it's 4 people, or sometimes I think it's no more than 8 most of the time. Yeah, the multiplayer itself is actually quite enjoyable and quite fun. So it really does kind of make you really do enjoy the game in a sense, because that really does give, once you complete the game, something to do. Whereas that's kind of a thing that other Resident Evils did kind of miss. Obviously a lot of them had mercenaries and all that, but in comparison to the other Resident Evils, that does give you a little bit more in a sense, in that aspect anyway. But then again, not for everybody. I'll accept that. Anyway, let's move on to my fourth point. In general, the whole Resident Evil series really has focused around the main people being the main heroes and like saving the world from the bad people. But in Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City, you really get kind of a reverse of that, as you actually get to taste what it'd be like to be a bad person within a game rather than always being the good person. So it's quite cool as you get to go around actually being the bad person, kind of like just like making sure that civilians can't contact out with people and try actually to attack the heroes and all that. So it's actually quite a cool kind of thing, and you get a taste of being a bad guy in a Resident Evil game rather than always being a good guy. So obviously, to be fair, the only other time you've had the chance to be a bad guy is when you used to play as Wesker in the Resident Evil Mercenaries. So you know, it's quite a good taste anyway. So let's move on to my fifth and final point. So as my final point, in Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City, they really do offer you a plenty of variation gun, and they do allow you to switch up the weapons during the game. This does kind of give you a good variation of different weapons which you can use during playing and before playing as well. As in, you can choose before weapons and you can choose during weapons, so you can sort of like pick up weapons which other people drop and stuff like that. But obviously very COD-esque, but it's very like unique for a Resident Evil series anyway. So ladies and gentlemen, that's about all from me. If you guys have enjoyed this video, then like this video. And if you're new to the channel, this is the first video you've seen of mine, then feel free to subscribe as well and keep up to date with any more videos I do in the future. Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, I'm TheLonesomeRavidor. You guys are beautiful. See you later, guys. Goodbye.